What's up, everybody? Welcome to our very first episode, Bros Who Close. I'm super excited to get this podcast started. We gotta do a fist pump.
So we're starting this brand new podcast. We're calling it Bros Who Close. It's with me and Saurabh. No idea what we're going to talk about. Actually, we have some idea what we're going to talk about, but we've kind of brainstormed it, and we just want to kick things off. And this is our very expensive and cool studio, as you can see. And,
or no studio. We'll get better over time.
So what is? Who are we? Let's give them a brief introduction.
So Bros Who Close. We kind of started with the idea of that we wanted to do a podcast, really. And we came up with the name. We do want people, our listeners, to give feedback on both the logo and the name.
Yeah. And we'll get to all of that. But let's start with who we are, why the hell people should listen to us, what do we have to offer. So let's do a brief introduction.
Yeah. So my name is Saurabh, and I started. We're both agents in Toronto. We have a small real estate team that we run. We've been quite successful at it. I've been doing real estate for about going on my 10th year, and we've become kind of the top 1% of agents within Canada, worldwide, or nationally, I should say, rather. So we've got some learning, we've got some experience over the years, and we just wanted to share those experiences with others who are willing to listen.
That's Saurabh's intro. I started in real estate in 2018, and we'll get to all of our backstory later. But what we really wanted to focus on is that this podcast is not just going to be about real estate. Yes, we're real estate agents, and we're going to dive deeper into real estate, talk about all of that stuff. But it's going to be a lot of our stories, or everything we learned. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship, mindset, all of the things that have brought us to where we are. The reason why we chose the name Bros Who Close, I'm still getting used to the name. It's that new. And the reason we came up with the name is because, we're big into sales. We love sales, entrepreneurship, closing deals. And, we thought, why not start a podcast that talks about closing deals and entrepreneurship and sales and mindset, right?
100%. And that really is and the quick story about the name itself, since we're on that topic, is Sid and I, the last time we came in last week, and we're like, oh, we should start a podcast, and shit, so started the recording, and I was like, what the fuck are we going to talk about? And we're like, hold on, let's take a step back. And we brainstormed for like 2 minutes, and then Sid took out ChatGPT. It's really become one of our best friends. And you know what? In other episodes, maybe we'll talk about AI and how we leverage AI within our business. But we opened up ChatGPT, we gave it prompts, and it spit out a whole bunch of other names. And as soon as we read Bros Who Close, it totally just resonated with the both of us.
It was a totally cool name, and we could be completely off. You guys let us know if this is a good name, if you guys think this would actually is something that you guys would listen to. But really, the point of this podcast, guys, is we just want to make more content. At least I just want to make more content. I just want to put stuff out there, and I want us and myself to have this content machine for the next year. I know there's a gazillion podcasts out there, and I think the purpose of this podcast is just to convey our story, what we bring, how we got here, and hopefully somebody resonates with it and it kind of clicks somewhere. But it's mostly just to have more content out there, at least for me.
Yeah, and same for me. Like I mean, Sid, you put a lot of content out there right now. I don't do much at all, if any. And for me, it was the same thing. This really resonated. This platform resonated with my style of speaking. I don't really like scripted talk or sitting in front of a camera as much as you do.
Yeah, so I've got some really cool stories about Saurabh. In fact, I've got a video of Saurabh trying to make a YouTube video where he spent half an hour and we got 3 minutes of footage out of there.
We never put it out.
Which wasn't even usable, so it was a horrible way. Saurabh is completely unscripted. He can't be in front of a camera and have a method to his madness. His method to his madness is just talking shit, so hence why he's here.
Exactly, and that's why I wanted to put some content out there as well. But the content that I want to put out there, like this really resonates with me. I love sales. I feel like I was really born into sales. I've loved sales for, I've been in this career for over 20 years in just sales. I love entrepreneurship. I love hearing about, hearing stories about other entrepreneurs that inspire me. I like talking about our journey, and hopefully we get to inspire other people as well. And yeah, if you, listen, guys, if you like this podcast, give it a like, give us a follow, and there'll be a lot more of of this platform where we're going to talk about sales, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, we're going to talk about mindset, how us as a team we got here. I remember my first year in sales and in real estate. It was very tough starting out. There's no guidance. There's none of that within, and it just within all industries. There's no real guidance on how to go about doing sales or making sales, and especially within real estate. This is the biggest piece of property or biggest piece of transaction for most people that they're going to ever do. So the trust factor is going to be huge. So, and in this industry, there's real no guidance to start.
And I think, all kidding aside, I think also the reason for this podcast is, I know that, we're we've done fairly well in the industry.
Yeah.
And we constantly have agents come to us, they'll go to you, and some agents will come to me and go, hey guys, how did you get this done? Or like, what's the script that you guys use? Or hey, how did you close that deal? And so I think this could be an extension of us reaching out and kind of putting our platform and our, call it secrets, if you will, out there, just to kind of show people, right?
Yeah.
Because, and again, not just real estate agents, but any entrepreneurs who want to get anything out of it. And I think, I truly believe they will, because our goal, at least I know for myself, is to be a completely open book. If you know me personally, if you're an agent who's ever interacted with me, you know I'm a completely open book, and we don't really hold anything back. And I think this is just a way for us to get to the masses a little bit more,
Totally
where people
agree.
can learn more about what happens behind the scenes, what we do, how we close deals, how we get clients, all the bullshit that we did over the years, like how we cold called, and sort of all of the cool stuff behind it. But real quick, for me, I was working in sales before, just like Saurabh. He'd been in sales for a long time. I've only done sales my entire life. I started door knocking when I was 13, and then, I was always working in these, jumping from company to company, cold calling. Basically, that's the only job I could get. So, Saurabh was in real estate, I think, a few years,
2015 is when I started.
Yeah.
So yeah.
2015 you started, and 2017, 2018, I was working for this company, and I was cold calling. Saurabh was doing lead generation.
Yes.
And he had a whole shitload of leads in his database.
That I never called.
That he's never called.
I never
right?
called.
And so, bad example to start with, but...
Yeah. Although I did call a few, and I closed a few, but it was just coming in so much masses that I did not have the help.
There's no help. And so then you called me and you said, hey, Sid, you're already cold calling people. Why don't you just cold call some of my leads in the evening? And so I did, and I was calling some of those, and I was completely shit in the beginning. But then I got my real estate license at the same time, simultaneously. Saurabh was like pushing me to get my real estate license, which I finally did. But I still wasn't taking it seriously until I got laid off from my job. And once I got laid off from my job, I was like, oh shit, I have nothing else to do, so I better start making some fucking calls. And so I was almost forced into the industry in a way. And next thing you know, one thing led to another. I think 2020 onwards, last 4 years, we really took it to a whole nother level, and we kind of partnered up and brought it to where it is, and we hit chairman, which is top 1% in the country over the last couple of years. And I think, just to bring it back to the podcast, and the purpose of this is we're hoping to share most of what we did in that time.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And I finally feel that like now we are a business. For the longest time, like starting out as called an entrepreneur, I was really not an entrepreneur. If I go back, I was just chasing the next lead, and I was just chasing the next deal, and I was just trying to close it and then move on to the next deal. Like that's really what I was doing. And I feel just talking to a lot of my colleagues in the industry, a lot of the agents, that's how they are. We don't really have a quote-unquote business. Mm-hmm. We're just trying to, do a deal, move on. We want to do everything ourselves. I was doing all the paperwork. I was doing all the calling. I was doing all the showings. I was putting up log boxes. I was trying to save money. I was actually going and putting up my own signs. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started, because, signs, put up signs for like, I don't know, back then it was like $50 or $80. I was like, I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna do it myself. So it was not really a business. I had just, same thing. I'd also gotten laid off from my job, and I started in this industry. So the first year I really hustled. However, I think once, Sid joined, And then, Violetta, my wife, she also joined a few years after Sid joined. She also kind of started the same way, where she, started helping us out with our paperwork because we were so bad at it. We're still bad at it. And then she kind of, and then we had our first hire. We finally, for the last 2.5 years or so, we've now got a full-time admin.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we would operate without her, and on how we operated so many years without her. So, coming back to the point, I finally feel that we're now, I can finally call us a business where we've got the structure, we've got the platform, we've got the skills, we've got the right people, we've got the right operations. And really, like the when Sid and I were talking about this idea, that's what really got me excited. Like all the things that we have learned, our journey over the last decade, we're able to now share in a platform for a lot of people to listen to.
Yeah, and by the way, yes, we've got it here until this point, but I think another really cool thing about this podcast would be to continue follow our journey,
my
because
God.
we're just in growth mode right
Yes.
now, right? Our goals for 2025 are just on another level. We want to hire more agents. We want to scale our business and scale this team, and we have a lot of other cool stuff that we're going to be talking about that's going on behind the scenes. And I think Alex Hormozi, I'm sure you know
Yeah.
who that is, and there's a lot of people I'm sure who are watching who probably know of him. And what's cool about Alex Hormozi is he documents all his business as he's growing, and he talks about his day-to-day struggles and day-to-day things because he's growing at the same time. And I think that this could kind of relate to that, where as we're hiring agents, we can talk about the things we've struggled with or things that have worked. So it's almost like we're taking everybody on a journey. And I
Yes.
think that would be a really cool thing to share on this podcast.
Absolutely. And I'm also super excited about, Sid and I discussed this last week when we were brainstorming, what this podcast should kind of look like, of having other guests, because we're also looking to grow, guys. Like, it's not, we don't have, we know how to get to chairman, we know how to get to top 1%. But there's some of our colleagues out there that are making far more in terms of sales. So I'm really excited to get some of those people in, also learn from them. I know that we're part of a mastermind group, with other top producing agents, and we had one last week, and we learned a lot.
Yeah.
Of how to scale the business even higher.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited of having some of these guests over, and that's what you could also expect from this podcast.
100%. I'm actually really excited about bringing guests over because, like between you and our network, the people that we talk to all the time, they have some absolute nuggets to share all the
Absolutely.
time. And every time I go to one of these masterminds and these meetings, I take at least one thing away that blows my mind, even if it's something like super simple. So I'm super excited to have guests over. So yes, expect to have some awesome guests. And again, it'll be not just from the real estate industry. I mean, it probably will be in the beginning, but
Yep.
we'll likely have people from other industries come and talk more, again, entrepreneurship, sales, growth, mentorship,
Absolutely.
all that good stuff.
And here's the one thing about, getting nuggets, because you touched on that point, is people are always like, oh my God, like I'm trying to get as much value as possible from every single event or whatever you go to. And the thing is, if you walk away with, 30, I'm not looking for 30 different things to walk away from.
Yeah.
We're just looking for every podcast that I listen to personally, or every book that I read, or any conference that I go to. Sid and I are big Grant Cardone followers, and a lot of the business that we're in and the sales also came from his platform. In the beginning.
Shout out.
Exactly. And I totally lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no, the nugget that you take away is
Yes.
the one thing.
Yeah, the one I'm looking for, just the one piece of nugget from any book or any conference that I'm going to, and how do we implement that one piece of advice or one piece of nugget, call it, into our business to take it to that next level, right? We're not looking for a million things. You're just looking for the one thing.
Yeah, and I think oftentimes a lot of people get overwhelmed if they go to, I know a lot of people who go to conferences, right? And they'll go to conferences, they'll spend thousands of dollars, or they'll hire coaches or mentors, and then they go, I'm learning so much. And then I go, okay, what have you implemented? And they go, well, there's so much to do, and they get overwhelmed.
Yes.
But if you, just to your point, if you focus on one thing and you go, you know what, this is the one piece of, this is the one thing that can take my business to the next level, let me implement it and take immediate action and take steps to implement it, that alone could completely transform your business.
I totally
and
agree.
Just your life.
And to a certain degree, when I first started in real estate, I didn't really know the direction I was going. As I said, like I was only looking to make deals happen and go forth. And it's only until you joined that we really started focusing on different things, because then I could focus on certain things and you could focus on some certain other things. And our biggest thing was building systems. and had it not been for building systems, I don't think we'd be here today. Again, that piece of, you overtook that complete challenge and you dominated it. So again, for somebody, for any entrepreneur within any industry, for us to really be able to start scaling, I think the biggest piece of advice would be start working on a systematic approach to how you do your business or how you run your business, and it starts at with your own systems that you have in place.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah, and I think the way we'll break down these episodes, and again, shout out to ChatGPT for helping us with this, because we're not smart enough to come up with this on our own. So we have a pretty decent size outline of what we're going to talk about, but a lot of the things we're going to cover is how to scale. We're going to talk about systems and processes, scripting. Obviously, aside from guests, who we'll have over, who'll touch on their expertise and what they specialize in. But it's really going to be about actionable, implementable things. I don't even know if that's a word, but actionable things that you can implement and you can actually start utilizing after watching an episode, hopefully, right?
Exactly, right. And to your point from earlier, like, this podcast is, we're not just going to have people from the real estate industry, because again, the business journey, the entrepreneurship journey, I've learned from, a lot of our learning has come from outside of real estate, like especially when it comes down to system. AI is a big topic right now, and when we started looking at AI, I think I still feel like we're kind of in the forefront of implementing AI into our business. And a lot of these AI systems were not very real estate friendly to start, and to a certain degree, they're still not. But then, listening to other entrepreneurs in various other industries, we're able to, take some of those learnings and implement into, the real estate platform. So I'm super excited to having guests over from other industries, because ultimately, guys, business is business, sales is sales. Whether you're selling, a box of tissue, coffee, or a piece of real estate, ultimately the structure of sales and operations within different industries are very similar.
Yeah.
And that's what we hope to accomplish within this podcast.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get into so many things in our future episodes. Should we talk about some of the names that didn't make the cut?
So shout out to ChatGPT for by the way.
So let's talk. What was in the top? We had a few in the running.
Yes, about the Toronto Hustle was one. That was
That
pretty
was
cool.
one of the first ones that was on the list, and we're both like, "Ooh, that sounds cool." But then we're like, "Okay, let's keep going."
Let's keep going. The Brothers Blueprint. I was like, well,
Brothers Blueprint.
that was pretty cool too. Real Talk with the Brothers.
Real Talk with the Brothers, I liked.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool because it had a wordplay with real estate and real.
It did, exactly, and we were having this real talk. Like, I don't have nothing written down except for So it is real talk. And then the four, and that's about it. I think that was the top three.
Yeah.
And then I think the very last one was Broswhoclose, and right away, as soon as we both read it, we both just started laughing because it resonated so well with the both of us.
Yeah. It just reminded me of all the things that we've done when we started.
Yeah.
We're just obsessed with sales, and you guys will see this as we're going on and closing deals, and so that instantly resonated. And we go, it's a cool word. I mean, cool play on words, and we're like, you know what? Let's go with this, and that's it. That's just pretty much how we came up with the name.
Exactly. And then ChatGPT recommended that we use for the logo a handshake.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So Sid started putting out prompts, and maybe in one of the episodes we'll kind of show it, or maybe as one of the Instagram posts we'll put it down.
We'll put it out there, yeah. But I'm actually curious to know if you guys want to put in the chat, or in the comments, which one of those you like, or if one of them was better than the other, or you guys like Broswhoclose.
Yeah, exactly. And then we started playing with the CN Tower, and we wanted to incorporate the CN Tower because, I mean, we love the city. I love the city of Toronto. I feel like it's given us a lot over the years. We've built a great network within the city. So I wanted to pay homage to the city because I really love the city that much. And Sid's fiance Chloe said that, like, hey, what if you guys blow up and the CN Tower, and then you're just stuck to Toronto? So I'd love to know what people think of that.
I do feel like it confines us or puts us in a box with just Toronto, because that's the major Toronto landmark, and people will associate us with that. But then you had a good point about how that's okay. You know, we want to be from the city and we want to put it on the map. And so, you know, there's a point there too.
Absolutely, right? We want to ultimately represent Toronto, whether we blow up or not blow up.
Yeah.
I feel like we live in the city. We want to pay homage to the city. We love the city. We love working in the city. We know the city inside out. So, you know, it's a cool
So let me
sign.
ask you a question. If you moved to Florida, let's just say, right, would you still keep the logo?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Because this is where my journey started. I feel that, you know, Sid and I, you know, we both immigrated from, I mean, we were both born in India, and then we went to Dubai in the 90s, and then we both immigrated to Canada in 2001. So, you know, I think for both of us, for our family, this has been the longest, you know, quote unquote home that we've ever lived in. Because even within India, we used to always constantly move.
Yeah.
You know, our background of our dad, he's an engineer, and wherever he found a job, like he would, or a promotion within India, he would just move. So, you know, we've now been living in Canada for what,
Over 20 years.
23 years now. So yeah, like this is our city. So I feel like, you know, if I were to ever move full time anywhere else, I would, you know, this is still home.
Yeah, fair
for me.
point. Yeah. Okay. We'll see how that plays along. We'll see how long the logo lasts. We'll see. But I like it. I love the logo. I think it's cool. Chloe had some good points, but then at the same time, like, I don't really care what the
I
logo
don't really care.
is.
I just want to put content out
Yeah.
there. I hope you guys will get value. I know we've been shit talking for the last like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So where can they find us?
So we've got a YouTube channel called
Bros Who Close
Bros Who
on
Close.
YouTube.
We've got an Instagram channel,
Bros Who Close.
Bros Who Close. We're also going to be putting this podcast out to Spotify, Apple Music,
Yep.
and all the major platforms out there.
TikTok, we're going to be there as well. So we're
Yep.
going to probably make an account there later this week. So by the time this comes out, it should be up.
Yeah, it should be up. So what can they expect? So what can people expect in future episodes? You know, that's value-driven content.
So I think for our next episode, from what we talked about, we're going to go over just entrepreneurship and sales and talk about our journey, how we got here, kind of dive deep. I know we touched on it a little bit, but I think it'll be good to kind of give them a full story behind it, the lessons we learned, and hopefully we can share some wisdom there.
Absolutely, guys. Again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the first episode. We are Bros Who Close with fist bumps.
That's to be our signature.
That is going to be a signature start.
This is how we start and end the podcast. All right. Cheers.
Peace out.